on me as more high-profile rappers continue to take center stage in criminal trials due to the lyrics of their songs. Other black rappers are calling out the double standard.
That's right, Courtney. Black rappers who have fell victim to their own art being used against them are calling on lawmakers to end the practice. They say that although violence and other dark themes frequent their work, they say it's only used as weapons against hip-hop artists and no other genre of music. This all comes as rapper Young Thug is one of 28 people named in an indictment that accuses them of multiple crimes, including murder. Young Thug says he is innocent.
The Missouri State House of Representatives may be getting some unwanted attention after revising its dress code for female legislators and staff members while keeping the dress code for men unchanged. Now, following Wednesday's 105-51 vote, women legislators are now required to wear a jacket such as a blazer or a cardigan, a move that sparked debate about policing the fashions choices of women. The updated dress code is a part of a more extensive set of rules laid out by the House. Sources say it has been criticized by some Democratic lawmakers who say the Republican-backed move is sexist and pointless. But those in favor of the policy say it's a small change that would help maintain professionalism inside the chamber.
According to a workplace report by AFLAC, Americans are more burnt out now than they were at the height of the pandemic. The study's results show that more than half of American workers are experiencing at least moderate levels of burnout, a notable increase over 2021, 52% and on par with the levels reported in 2020 at the height of the COVID-19 pandemic. More than half of employers recognize that employees' mental health issues have affected their businesses over the past year. Employee burnout can partially be attributed to the Great Resignation and quiet promotion moment, in which employees quit their jobs in droves during 2021 and the early part of 2022, subsequently leaving remaining workers with more responsibilities and more work to cover the absences.
You know, there's been a lot of stats, stemming from the pandemic, and sometimes it's hard to know which way you want to flow. You know, we're enjoying working at home. We're more productive. The corporate folks, the suits have said that the staff has been, more productive. They appreciate the fact that they don't have to necessarily continue to support or finance a brick and mortar. And then you have reports like this that say, okay, we're burnt out. And, we need a break. And, mentally we're wearing a little thin. So I don't know. It sounds like it might be a mixed bag of some good and then maybe some not so good, which leaves room for in improvement, leaves room for discussion, for still maybe a different way, because, we'd like to say that we're over the pandemic. We're still dealing with, residue from the pandemic, hiking cases. So it's still here. So maybe we need to continue to think about how we will continue to evolve and deal with it.
I think employers need to think about how they intend to manage the fact that a lot of employees are feeling like they have to do more work with less, right? And so less headcount on their team to support the work that they are charged with, less administrative support in order to get the job done. And so, and I think with these devices right here, these electronic leashes, if you will, it's harder than ever to get away from work. And so even on the weekend, sometimes you find yourself sort of scrolling through work emails and all of that. And so I just think that we coming out of the pandemic, I think there were some boundaries that were blurred during the pandemic.
That's it.
And I don't think we've quite adjusted back in terms of reinforcing those boundaries. And so I think reports like this just underscore that.
Boundaries are key. Boundaries are key. And sometimes you have to learn how to put that phone down. I'm coming from a generation prior to cell phones. So adjusting and setting boundaries and learning, put that cell phone down comes with ease for me. And I know for some folks or part of generations or habitually speaking, their phone is their lifeline and is their leech. And it has become a discipline to put it down. But I think you're spot on in regards to the resources and what people are expected to do based on what they're provided with. That's a great point.
I mean, just think about how often we go out to eat And how often do people have their cell phones turned sort of face up, right? And they're checking text messages and all the sorts while folks are eating dinner. And so I think that's just another reminder that, we've got to get clear about what those boundaries are at work and at home.
Have you worked for a company that pays for the cell phone or part of the cell phone?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I've had that where my personal cell phone, the company pays a little bit on my personal cell phone bill, but still you have to set boundaries. If I'm Monday through Friday, unless it's just, being in the news industry, the news never stops. Unless it's just some sort of kind of just something that you just have to tap into and physically get yourself involved. Other than that, even though they were putting a few cents on my bill, you still have to create boundaries for your mental peace of mind. You really do.
Yep.
You really do. All right, we're going to move on here. Food insecurity is one of the most pervasive social issues plaguing our country, and a Black woman is at the helm of trying to fix it. Claire Babineau-Fontenot leads Feeding America. That's a nationwide network of more than 200 food banks that feed more than 46 million people through food pantries, soup kitchens, shelters, and other community-based agencies. Now, since the pandemic and economic inflation, food insecurity rates have grown. Since June of last year, 9% of U.S. adults have reported skipping meals, and another 12% said they ate lower quality foods based on what they could afford.
Miami Heat and Miami-Dade County announces the team's home arena will be temporarily called Miami-Dade Arena. The NBA team recently shared that the FTX Arena will be getting a temporary name change until a permanent naming rights partner comes aboard. The change comes just a few days after a bankruptcy court ended Miami-Dade's naming rights deal with FTX. Now, Soulmates, you might remember that in November, Miami-Dade requested for the naming rights deal they requested it be terminated. The county believes that keeping the FTX affiliation will increase the, quotes, enduring hardships that were brought on by the collapse of the cryptocurrency exchange. All right,
you might want to make note of this as postage stamps are going up again. Starting Sunday, the U.S. Postal Service will increase the price of some postage by more than 4%. So the cost of a forever stamp will rise 3 cents to 63 cents. This is the third price hike in about a year. The Postal Service says the increase will allow it to keep pace with the rising cost of operations. And I would have to agree, 63 cents to mail out, an envelope that's within, the weight requirements. I don't think it's so bad. In this day and age.
It's not so bad. It's not so bad. I mean, I remember the cost of a postage stamp had been really low for a long time.
It had.
And then it just felt like all of a sudden, like increase. I mean, as we mentioned in the story, this is the third increase in less than a year. And so, but however, I think for people that may be on a fixed income, that typically, use the Postal Service, for their businesses or for correspondence with friends and family, they may feel the difference.
They may.
Right? But, that compared to how much they would pay in the private sector, to mail off their items, it's still a pretty good deal.
I would agree, because when you go to some of the like you said, the private guys or the ones who specialize in delivery, it can get pretty costly. I know we sent some pictures up here, and I'm thinking, okay, $50, $60. That girl said $400, and these were just basic, pictures, artwork, and I was like, are you kidding me? So I still think it's still a great deal when you go the Postal Service route in comparison to some of the other folks out there who are in the same business. So I'm down with the increase.
And especially given the fact that for a lot of nonprofits out there, there's a nonprofit postal rate. And so, even though 63 cents, that may startle a few folks. There are a lot of nonprofits out there that benefit from not having to pay for postage at all. And so, again, a pretty good deal. And shout out to all the postal workers out there.
You read my mind. Right? We appreciate y'all.
We appreciate
all these elements, rain, snow, cold.
You get it. You get us our mail no matter what. And we see you and we appreciate you here at FOXSOUL's Black Report.
There's more to come on FOXSOUL's Black Report.
Yep, that's right. The latest on the rescue efforts of migrants across the country, plus a dramatic rescue caught on camera. We'll be right back.